The name of the assessment that we're using is Test of Visual Perceptual Skills, 3rd edition. This was created to be a reliable measure of a child's perceptual abilities. You can find this at the top of the manual, which is right here at page 11. This also, in the manual, it states that the reason why this test is given to ages 4 to 18 is because these are your typical school ages, so they will have the norms in there. The subtests that are combined in this test or this assessment are visual discrimination, visual memory, spatial relationships, form consistency, sequential memory, visual figure ground, and visual closure. For test preparation, you should collect the general identification of the child before or after the test is done. This should not be done during the test. This information is what you collected here, what Claire explains later on, right here at the very top of the testing packet. The chronological age is used to obtain the scores, which can be found in the manual. Age of the child does not determine the item at which the child starts at whenever you're using the testing booklet. This is your testing booklet that you give to the child. Here is the following example. You will have 2 examples for each subtest. Like I said before, you start at the very beginning, so you would start at page 1, not anywhere else. All material for the child should be set up prior to the child arriving. So whenever you go to prepare the child, some children will become negative and resistant. If this occurs, the testing should be terminated and administered to a child at another time. If possible, before terminating, offer encouragement to reestablish the motivation to perform the test. Do not give the child feedback on specific items on the test. Whether or not they are going to get the answers right or wrong, you do not give this information out. If the child is unsure, encourage them to respond anyways. Even if it's guessing, the perceptual process is largely subconscious. Guesses and hunches are often correct. We actually found this out whenever I was doing the testing. Let the child know before starting, some are easy and some are hard. Following the behavior of the child, the following behavior may have been a negative effect of the testing results. So you might find that distractibility or etc. could be affecting their testing scores. This should be provided and recorded in a space on the testing packet. If the following are present, then note them and administer the test at a different time. This falls under distractibility, short attention span, difficulty understanding direction, hyper or hypoactivity, impulsiveness, fear of failure, that would be extreme fear, by the way, withdrawn, or lacking self-confidence. Possible examiners for this test can be school psychologists, counselors, optometrists, learning specialists, an occupational therapist, resource specialists, or other professionals with general assessment training, which would be us as an occupational therapist assistant. Before administering the test, practice presenting so you know how to pace yourself. Aim for 2 palettes. This right here, each page of this is a palette. So aim for 2 palettes every minute. Explain directions and instructions. The instructions can be repeated during the test. Once it's clear to the child that the child understands, then you can go ahead and proceed. Make it clear that they should answer by giving the number or point to their answer. Show on the test, this is the target image, this is what you're pointing or saying the number below of the correct answer. For subtests 2 and 5, it does require that the examiner times this. You are only timing the presentation of the stimuli, but not the response. Therefore, you're going to give them 5 seconds. You would count 1 1000, 1 1002, 1 1003, and so on. Make sure both examples are given to each student of the subtest. The examiner cannot show more examples than the 2 that are available. If the client answers the example wrong, then the examiner must teach the task by identifying the correct answer choice and offer an explanation for the reason the answer choice is correct. A subtest ceiling is established when the child incorrectly answers 3 consecutive items in a row. There is only 1 point given for each correct response.
Up top is the general identifying information. We have the student's name, which in this case is Taylor Craig, her gender, female, her grade, she's in 10th grade, her school, Middle Georgia High School, the examiner, Mary Claire Spalding, reason for testing, possible visual perceptual deficit, and then the date the test was given, which is October 10th, 2020, the date of her birth, which was June 6, 2005, and then to get the chronological age, you subtract date of birth from date of test. In this case, we had it easy, and it is 15 years, 5 months, and 4 days. She had no known attention problems, and she wasn't diagnosed with visual problems. Hey, Taylor.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Okay.
Okay, well, you ready to do some work? Take some fun tests?
I guess so.
All right.
As long as they're fun.
They are, I promise. All right, so today you'll see some designs and will be asked about each one. You'll choose one of the answer choices shown on the page. Each answer choice at the bottom of the page is marked with a number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Just point to the design that you choose as your answer. Say the number underneath it. Work as quickly as you can. Each question only has one answer. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. Just guess. Relax, have fun, and try to do your best. Okay? So our first one, we'll practice. Look at this first example. At the top, you see a design. Which of the designs below looks exactly like the one at the top?
That one, that's easy.
Good job. Okay. Now let's practice with another one. Look at this one. Do you see the design at the top? Mm-hmm. Which designs below look exactly like the one at the top?
That one.
Oh, okay. So make sure we take our time and let's look closely. So you see a straight line on this side, and that's right, that does. And that has a diagonal line going at the bottom. However, if you look at the top, you see that straight line at the top? Mm-hmm. This one's diagonal. So why don't you take your time and try to find another answer that might fit a little better.
Okay. That one.
Good job. All right. Which of these designs below looks exactly like the one up top? Good job. All right. you point to that again? Okay, great job. Let's move on to the next test. A ceiling is established for each subtest when a student has answered all 16 items or misses 3 items in a row. Then you proceed on to the next subtest. Record the student's answers in the response column. Each correct answer is scored 1. 3, she responded 3, so we give a score of 1. Errors are scored 0. The answer was 3, she said 1, she gets a 0. Tally the scores for each subtest in the spaces provided. Do not score the examples. So these are all of the correct answers. She got a 1 for all of them. You add them up and we get a score of 12. The total your client receives on the subtest, which in Taylor's case was 12, is then put into the raw score column for that same test, 12. Then, using the client's age, you go to the appendix, you find their age, find their raw score, which in Taylor's case was 12, and then you find their scaled score, which in Taylor's is 9. Then, using their scaled score, you use this, you find 9, go over, and her percentile is 37. 37. Once you complete all the other subtests, you take their scaled scores and you put them to the overall. So 10, 10, 15, 15, 9, 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 6, 6, 9, 9. You add these all up to get the sum of scaled scores, which was, in Taylor's case, was 65. You come to Appendix B2, and you go down, and you find her score of 65, which is right here, and you see that her standard score is 96. You then take 96, and you go to Appendix B4, you find 96, and you get her percentile rank, which is 39. You then record those scores in the standard score and percentile rank. Table 4.1 has the different functional classification schemes commonly used. So we look at Taylor's percentage, which was 39, and we come to the percentile rank. So she would fall between 23 and 75, giving her a normal to average. Here she would fall between 25 and 73. She would fall under average. Here, 25 and 73, normal, average.